Join the doubles in episode 5 where we all drive down to the state fair together. In fact, by the time we get there, we've got a pretty full bus. You'll see what I'm talking about. You're going to learn about risk and protective factors in this episode. Hang on, this should be a fun ride.
Who adjusted these cymbals? Should have known. If I want something done right, I have to do it myself. Ow!
Hey, Izzy, I thought this song was supposed to end with a tambourine, not a cymbal crash.
Good point, Otto. Thanks for your concern.
You're welcome.
Bravo, bravo, nice work, kids. And speaking of work, we've got some.
What do you mean, Gordon?
Can you say state fair?
State fair?
Now that was better than the rehearsal, but back to my point. The Honorable Gordon has booked the doubles at the state fair.
To visit or to perform?
Doubles will be headlining, now that means performing, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in what they're calling the Family Pavilion.
Well, great. When's the state fair?
Well, like I said, there is that one tricky part.
You didn't say anything about a tricky part.
I didn't? Well, there is a tricky part.
Gordon.
Well, the state fair began last weekend, but it runs for 2 weeks. The doubles don't perform until Saturday.
That's 2 days from now.
Very good. You know your calendar.
But Gordon, what will we play?
Well, Izzy, you should play the drums. You're good at those. And Anna can play the guitar. And Otto...
I mean, what songs will we play? We've never rehearsed for a state fair before.
Well, you've rehearsed for the Drug Research Benefit Concert. We'll play that set. That's easy enough. Now, any more questions before I go gas up the bus?
What are risk factors?
I beg your pardon?
Risk factors. For our science report, Izzy and I have to write about risk factors and protective factors. You asked any more questions, so I just thought I would help us get started on our report. So what are risk factors?
I don't know about risk and protective factors. I meant any more questions about the state fair.
Darn, I thought I could sneak a fast one in there and get a head start on my homework. Oh well. No further questions, Your Honorable Gordon.
Very good. Now go pack. We'll be bright and early Saturday morning.
Yikes! I hope she doesn't have a big needle in her hand.
You ask her. You ask her.
You ask her, Anna.
I'm the shy one, remember?
Give me a break. Hannah's the shy
I
one.
mean, compared to you.
Can I help you with something?
Nurse Wilma, Izzy wanted to ask you something.
Yes, Izzy. What is it?
Well, we were wondering if we could ask you a question. See, we're doing your report, and we need an expert opinion. And we thought maybe you could be our expert.
I can sure try. What's your question?
We're doing a paper called The Effects of Drugs on People, and our next section is risk and protective factors. But since we don't know what those are, we really don't know where to start.
And we're driving down to the state fair tomorrow, so we wanted to get some books to study during the drive.
I see. Well, I suppose I can get you started, as long as you're planning to do some additional research.
So, of course.
Some things in people's lives make it more likely that they will use or abuse drugs. These are called risk factors.
Like they're at risk of using drugs because of something going on in their life.
Exactly.
I bet I know what protective factors are then.
Go ahead, Anna. What do you think?
Protective factors are things that protect you from using drugs.
You're very close. Certain things in people's lives make it less likely that they will use or abuse drugs. Those are protective factors.
So risk factors are things in a person's life that makes it more likely that they'll do drugs.
And protective factors are something in a person's life that makes it less likely that they'll use drugs.
Very good.
So what would some risk factors be?
Well, I guess it's some of the research you'll have to do, Izzy. Did you say you're going to the state fair?
Oh, yeah, our band's performing tomorrow.
I was supposed to go, but my car broke down. But you girls have fun.
Maybe you could go with us to the state fair.
Oh, you girls are too kind, but I'd be imposing. You don't have room for another person.
Oh, sure we do. We're bringing Debbie.
Who's Debbie?
That's our bus. She's got plenty of room.
Gordon, can we get a pizza or something? I'm starving.
The phone's not working. Don't know what happened. We'll eat when we get to the state fair. We're pretty close.
You guys have a great bus here. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a nurse on our bus before.
Luckily, we've never needed one.
Yes.
Hey, can I take a picture of you for our scrapbook? Well, see, why not? What would you like me to do?
Oh, I know. Let's actually be making this as part of our project.
So you guys are working on a drug abuse report?
Yeah, it's an all-year project. Right now we're working on risk and protective factors.
I remember. Do you guys know where risk and protective factors come from?
Well, when we studied genetics, we learned that genes come from your parents, so maybe risk and protective factors come from your parents too.
Risk and protective factors do include your parents and your family. Also, your attitudes, your friends, and even your neighborhood. So you mean someone could have a risky family? Not exactly. A risk factor is something that increases the risk that you'll use or abuse drugs. For example, a person is more likely to use drugs if their family or friends uses drugs. So if someone in your family uses drugs, you're more at risk to use drugs. And the younger you are when you start using drugs, the more likely you are to abuse them.
So if your friends and family don't use drugs, that's called a protective factor, right?
If Otto understands it, Nurse Wilma must have a really good way of explaining things.
Wow, if you guys perform a concert like you figured out risk and protective factors, you guys will be a great band.
Gordon, do you know which way we're going?
That way.
I don't see anything that way.
Well, here, check the map. We should be heading towards Ramsville.
Ramsville? That sign says Lambsville.
Ah, rams, lambs, same thing.
Gordon, a ram is a male sheep. A lamb is a baby sheep. They're not the same thing, and they're certainly not the same town.
Uh-oh. Well, that's the problem I mentioned.
You didn't mention any Never mind.
Oh, don't worry. We can turn around in that gas station up ahead.
I really don't want to get lost in the middle of nowhere, and that's exactly where we are. But we can get directions up there. What was that?
A speed bump?
I don't think so.
Why are we stopping?
Not part of the plan. The bus just stopped on its own.
Well, maybe Debbie's just thirsty.
I thought Debbie was the bus.
It is. Maybe she needs gas.
Oh.
Not at this gas station. I don't think it's a good sign when it looks like they're tearing the place down. Guess we won't be getting directions here.
Directions aren't our problem now. The bus won't start.
No, it's more like a backward S shape.
A backward S? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it.
All right, pull that one out.
Okay. Got it.
First, make sure it's the blue one, not the red one.
How's it going? Want me to give it another try?
I don't think so, Gordon. We can't figure it out.
Yeah, well, we better figure something out.
We're supposed to be on stage.
Howdy, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Fancy seeing a bus like this out here in Lambsville.
You scared me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. My name's Hatfield. This here is my friend McCoy.
Hi.
Looks like you could use a little help.
Actually, yeah, our bus just broke down. If you guys could do anything to help us, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, we'll sure try.
Okay, well, if you want to take a...
Hey, well, I don't see no engine back here, Hatfield. No, sir. Where do you suppose they put the engine?
Hey, is this a Volkswagen? Is that what it is? Some VW?
Oh, no. No, I think it's one of them minivans.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right again.
Well, now, where did you guys come from? I haven't seen a car stop since we got here.
We were in our car. Yes, sir, we were.
Well, Gordon, maybe they could drive to the nearest town and get us some help.
Oh, that'd be Lambsville, ma'am.
I know it's Lambsville. You know it's Lambsville. Everyone knows it. Except, of course, the guy driving our bus.
Well, it's pretty near a mile down the road. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think you can take us into town to get help?
Oh, that's our car right over there, ma'am.
Well, I know what this calls for.
Well, what's that, Gordon?
Plan B. Now, I don't want you two talking to any strangers.
Well, Otto's getting stranger every day. Do I have to talk to him?
Hey, it doesn't matter. I won't be listening.
Oh, you listened just then?
What? Who said that?
All right, enough. Look, all you got to do is talk to the mechanic in town or get the sheriff to help you find one.
A couple of bottled waters for you two. The sun could get hot on your walk. And here's one candy bar for you to share.
Wilma, these two are really good at math and science, but sharing is not their strong point. One for Otto, one for Anna. Now look, the clock is ticking. I suppose you're all wondering why I sent Anna and Otto out together.
No, I can't say as I was wondering anything like that. Not me, no, sir.
Thank you,
McCoy.
McCoy's my name. Fishing's my game.
Yes, well, since you're all wondering, I figured that Anna and Otto together would be very focused on finding help as quickly as they can.
You mean because they can't stand each other?
Exactly.
Walking for?
I don't know. No, more.
Anna, catch.
Got it. Ew, this thing looks like it's from the 1800s.
Frog just jumped out of it.
I wonder what the frog did to it.
Yeah, this place is so wild. Do you think anyone actually lives out here?
Maybe a farmer, I guess. Well, it's just a big field.
You know, Aunt Sam never brings us to the country. I've never even been on a farm before. Where are all the cows?
I don't think they raise cows out here. It just looks like a bunch of soybeans.
Soybeans?
Yeah.
You know, if I were a farmer, I'd raise something like popcorn.
Yeah, and then the sun would come out and pop all your crops. Besides, there's a lot of farmers that raise corn. 2 ears to a stalk, my mom told me.
Shit. Hey, corn on the cob. That sounds great. I could be that farmer.
That's an interesting science report. Let me tell you, me and McCoy, we tried some drugs before. But we'll know more, though.
Oh, why'd you decide to try them?
I don't know exactly. We was kind of bored. I mean, we didn't really fit in too well out here, and everyone was always going hunting.
Yeah, but me and Hatfield here, we just wanted to play some baseball, and we sure did.
Yeah, we did, that's right. Yeah, so we just kind of come out here to escape, really.
Remember, risk factors can make it more likely that a person will use or abuse drugs. Boredom and not fitting in are 2 risk factors.
One time, McCoy's older brother gave us some drugs and said they were real cool. You know, so we tried them, and then one thing led to another.
So was it then that you started to abuse drugs?
Yeah, I guess you might say that.
Those are certainly risk factors you're talking about. A person is more likely to use drugs if your family and or friends use drugs.
Now, well, the funny thing is, my uncle moved back in town a couple years ago, and I started up a baseball team in the area, so me and McCoy, we help coach now, and we haven't done any drugs since then.
My brother still tries to give us drugs, he does, but we don't take it anymore.
That's interesting. So everything in your life seems the same. You still have risk factors, except you're not using drugs anymore.
Good point, Hannah.
I guess you're right, man.
So I guess the importance of risk and protective factors changes during a person's life. Your brother had a greater influence on you when you were younger, but now that you're older, you have more confidence in yourself. And your uncle is giving you guys responsibility.
And baseball is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we don't win so much, no we don't, but sure beats hanging at some old gas station all the time.
We are cutting the time close.
I hope those guys aren't pulling each other's hair out.
Dang it, my water bottle empty.
Well, you can have some of mine.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, look at that wingspan.
Whoa, I wonder what kind of bird that is.
That's a bald eagle. They can have a wingspan up to 7 feet.
Whoa, that's bigger than me.
You know what? That must mean we're getting close to the town. This guy said that the town was close to a river, and bald eagles like to hang around rivers looking for fish.
Well, you sure know a lot about bald eagles, Ada.
Well, Sam got me this pair of binoculars once for my birthday, and I've been kind of into birds ever since. They're pretty cool.
That's neat.
So we should always be able to tell if someone's going to abuse drugs just by looking at their risk factors?
And the protective factors?
No, not so fast, guys. You can't tell if someone's going to use drugs just by looking at the risk and protective factors.
Yeah, that's right, because otherwise McCoy and me, we'd still be using drugs. I mean, we still live in the same neighborhood, we still have a lot of the same friends, but now, I mean, we spend all our time doing other stuff, and we don't use drugs anymore.
Remember, the importance of each risk and protective factor changes during a person's life.
I see what you mean.
Just because your friends started using drugs doesn't mean you have to use drugs. It's a risk factor, but hopefully your protective factors are even stronger.
Like good role models. My Aunt Sam's a good role model, most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes I think my mom and dad are too protective. I mean, they always want to know who I'm with, what I'm doing, where I am, but they know my friends don't use drugs.
Well, Hannah, I found that parents showing an interest in their children's lives is a very important protective factor, something that will make it less likely that their kids will use or abuse drugs.
You guys sure are interested. Hey, you mind if we hang out on the bus a little longer, you know, after it gets fixed? I mean, we don't have another baseball game for at least a few days.
Hello? Well, come on in. Come on in. You need a haircut?
You're a barber?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Step right on up into my chair. What kind of haircut would you like today?
Well, actually, we're looking for the sheriff.
Well, you found him.
Where?
Me. Small town, kids. Now, what do you need the sheriff for?
Well, we need to get to the state fair. We're supposed to perform there, but our bus just broke down by the old gas station.
Bus broke down, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, you don't need the sheriff. You need a mechanic.
Is there a mechanic here this time?
You're looking at him. Now, I know it was a long walk for you two after getting off that bus. There's a quick shop down the street. Who wants a soda?
Well, actually, we don't have any money, sir.
Now, who do you think runs the store?
You do?
You catching on? Now, let's go out there and take care of that bus.
Hey, we found the sheriff.
And a mechanic.
And a barber.
They won't all fit on the bus.
Yes, you will.
Well, how y'all doing? Hatfield, McCoy.
Sheriff?
Nice not to see you two for a while. How's the ball team going?
Well, we lost by 15 yesterday.
Well, I'm glad to see things are still improving.
Sheriff, you know what they told us? They said a person is more likely to use drugs if their friends or family are also using drugs.
Sure, that's right. But those are called risk factors. Risk factors and protective factors include your attitudes, family, friends, even your neighborhood.
I told you the sheriff would know.
Yes, you did. You're right again,
We were also explained that you can't tell if a person will end up using drugs only by looking at the risk and protective factors.
Very true, very true. Think of your sister, Hatfield. She grew up in the same house with the same family, and now she's singing in a church choir and she never used drugs at all.
Yeah, that's right, Sheriff. You know, I tried out for the choir once, but they said I'd probably make a better baseball coach.
Right smart man, that choir director. Anyway, I'd like to welcome you all to Lambsville. I understand that you're supposed to be about 20 miles down the highway in Ramsville.
Could you help us get our bus running? These kids are a band, and they're supposed to be performing soon at the state fair.
Working at the state fair myself. I'll be selling cotton candy for the church.
Well, we promised to buy a lot of cotton candy if you help us fix our bus.
I worked on a bus or two in my time. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, Sheriff, I think you might need that.
Oh, well, thanks.
Oh, do you think I could get a picture of you for our scrapbook? I think you're the first sheriff we ever had work on our bus.
Why, sure. Go on and take a picture of me and my boy.
All right.
Wait a minute. Could you do that again, please? I missed it.
I'll do it again, ma'am.
The rabbit. Making the rabbit disappear. I missed the rabbit.
Well, I don't actually have a rabbit, ma'am. That's the illusion. It's magic, remember?
Right. Magic. And you're a magician. So how do you make a rabbit disappear if there never was one?
Maybe you didn't read my application correctly, ma'am. I'm a radio magician.
A radio magician?
Yeah, I do magic on the radio.
Magic? On the radio? Oh, sir, the state fair is not on the radio. It's live, and people sit in the audience and they watch. So to make a rabbit disappear, you better start with a rabbit.
There you are, Sue. What are you doing in here?
I need an act. The Doubles were supposed to be here at 2 o'clock. They missed their sound check. I've tried to get them on the phone. It doesn't look like they're showing up, and people are going to be coming in here wanting to see something. So I need to have something. Next! Okay, you're the strong man.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's go ahead.
Oh, who put all this weight on here?
Okay, and you're the juggler.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, let's see. Okay, and you would be the baton twirler.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Well, let's go ahead and... Ah! Thank you. We'll call you if we need someone that can make balloon mosquitoes.
Sue, do you hear that?
Hear what?
The Doubles, they made it, and they sound terrific. The crowd loves them.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That's music to my ears. Oh, yes. You guys were wonderful. The crowd went crazy, and those songs, well, I've never heard them before, but they sounded great.
Hey, thanks for inviting us. It was really a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for showing. I was getting worried there a little bit.
Yeah, well, we had some bus trouble about 20 miles away.
Well, you guys were awesome. Hey, Hannah, where'd you learn to sing like that?
Lots of practice.
I'm really impressed, you guys. That was something special.
Yeah, if I had a record store, I'd buy your record.
Well, then you'd have to manage the record store, too. You wouldn't have any time to sleep. sure was fun today. And funny, too.
I would miss Patrick and McCoy. They were funny guys.
Hey, maybe we can go see and play a baseball game sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know what else is interesting? Usually Anna and Izzy get to learn everything from their science book. This time we all learned. Even I learned something. You already knew about risk and protective factors. Before we left, you told us that risk factors were things in a person's life that make it more likely they'll use or abuse drugs.
You know, I'm sure glad Izzy and Anna are working on a math project all year. That would get boring.
And you told us about protective factors too. Things in a person's life that make it less likely that they'll use or abuse drugs.
That's true. The importance of each risk and protective factor changes during a person's life.
Well, like with Patrick and McCoy, they used to get bored, and that was a risk factor. Now, even though they get bored sometimes, they have stronger protective factors. And being bored for a while is a very strong risk factor.
Yeah, I mean, we learned a lot just listening to their stories about growing up.
Yeah, you can tell risk and protective factors include someone's attitude, where they live, their friends, and their family.
Yeah, sometimes you can learn a lot by just listening.
Oh, remember how McCoy was talking about his brother using drugs and giving some to them?
I saw a lot of studies in our research books that said that someone's more likely to use drugs if a friend or family member uses drugs. But we didn't have to read the research. We met someone who's lived through it.
Those are good points, but remember one thing. You can't tell if somebody's going to end up using drugs just by looking at the risk and protective factors.
Some people have a lot of risk factors in their life and they don't abuse drugs. Today's sure been a long day. I'm exhausted. I think Otto's asleep. You guys, I have to admit, while I was walking to town with Otto, he was actually alright. He's pretty smart about some things.
Careful, I'm not asleep yet.
Stop tricking me!
Well, I don't know if you've ever been to your state fair before, but it sure is a hopping good time. We didn't even have enough time to visit the giant soybean display. What was it, giant lima bean? Well, no matter. Y'all just visit your state fair next chance you get, but don't drive a bus. You never know how many people you'll wind up driving to the fair. Meantime, I've got some good news to share with you. The doubles were such a hit at the fair, word's starting to get around. I got a message from a company that might want to use the doubles to appear in a TV commercial. Yeehaw! Oh, sorry, the fair's over, isn't it? Stay tuned. The doubles might be coming to your TV. Well, see you next time.